The description in the Gospels isn't as clear-cut as we are led to believe. 2,000 years ago, a tectone could have been a wealthy building contractor, not necessarily a humble carpenter. Plot twist that sheds an extraordinary new light was ruled by Rome.
Who had somehow fallen foul of the law.
But the greatest influence on the young... The Gospels tell us that, at around the age of 30, Jesus went to watch his cousin preach. The charismatic Jewish leader, now known as John the Baptist.
John the Baptist is a priest. Instead, he feels the call to go out into the desert, out into the wilderness. And apparently, he is convinced that, and the Gospels list all of the regions around the country where people are flocking to hear John.
John was popular because he was the head of a new religious movement with a revolutionary message. Because God is about to judge us all. Will perish.
Jesus himself follows the himself is baptized by John.
What we get in the Gospel of Mark is this the heavens are split open and the Holy Spirit descends out of the heavens upon him like a dove. And from that moment on, everything changes.
His lot with John and with the movement, and that indeed marks the beginning of this revolutionary movement.
A sign that would leave the ambitious Sejanus.
A short time for someone who's...
He's virtually the mouthpiece. He's going to stand in for the emperor himself. And that, of course, gives him put down...
And he talks her into, leave your husband and marry me. So that's the story we get. That's how Josephus, the historian of the time, reports it.
But there are strong clues that the marriage to Herodias was part of Herod Antipas's long-held plan to be by none other than Jesus's influential cousin, the hugely popular John the Baptist.
John the Baptist doesn't go along. He says, according to Jewish law, you cannot marry your... John couldn't remain loyal to the Torah and to the law.
Reacting to John the Baptist's continued criticism, Herod Antipas had him arrested. Had to decide whether John lived or died.
And I think he wants time to think. What is he going to do? Should he kill him? What if a full-scale revolt breaks out? What would Sejanus think? What would the emperor think? Is this the move to make?
If he thought he was no threat, he could have let him go. But he doesn't kill John.
But Herod Antipas may also have had another very good reason for keeping John alive. And that was his large number of followers.
Herod Antipas doesn't want to kill John. Why? Because John has a following. Just lay it out.
After more than a year in prison, John the Baptist's fate was finally sealed. And according to the Gospels, it was Herod Antipas's new wife, Herodias, who was responsible.
The New Testament story surrounding the death of John the Baptist is very dramatic. And that's what she asked for, and that's what was done.
But the reason for John's death might have been less to do with a wronged woman and more to a shift in the religious landscape.
I think the time gap, 1 year, is very, very significant. Two things may happen in this 1 year wait. Number one, it becomes clear to Herod Antipas that John won't play along. He's not going to bless this marriage.
Someone like Herod Antipas would have had a whole network of spies and informers keeping him abreast of exactly what was happening within his realm. And so you can imagine that somebody like Jesus, who...
So what were Herod Antipas and Sejanus conspiring about? The clues stretch back to the marriage of Herod Antipas into Jewish royalty, to the arrest of John the Baptist, and to the presence of people close. Because with Jesus running the temple, Herod Antipas could deliver Sejanus, a trouble-free, tax-paying Judea.
Judea is constantly rising in revolution, constantly. The last
The Gospels inform us that the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion took place in the spring, just before Passover. But those behind the theory that Jesus had high-level support for his temple coup